Welcome to Dark Dreams.
Lawn by Ken MacGregor. The old man across the street was watering his lawn again. He did it every single day. The old man used a yellow trigger on the end of a green hose. The trigger made Harvey think of a gun. Harvey's dad said the old man was wasting an unconscionable amount of water, though that he had to admit it was a damn fine-looking lawn. Harvey had to admit it too, though he wasn't sure what unconscionable meant, and he wasn't allowed to say damn. The old man's lawn was a deep, rich green, and it looked soft like the expensive plush carpet at Uncle Kyle's enormous house. Kyle wasn't really an uncle. He was a family friend, but Harvey's parents always called him Uncle Kyle. He was what Harvey's family called well off. Once, when visiting them, Uncle Kyle took Harvey and his family out to lunch at his hotel. Harvey didn't remember what he ate, but he never forgot Uncle Kyle putting down $200 bills to pay the tab. For lunch. For 4 people. Wow. The old man always glared at the neighborhood kids from his porch if they came near. Harvey and his friends were afraid of him. It really was a perfect lawn. Maybe the weeds were scared too. Ornate printed signs stood sentry at each corner of the old man's lawn. Keep off the grass. If the old man caught you so much as leaning over his lawn, he'd be out on his porch, fast as a cat, snarling and growling at you, spittle and unintelligible syllables flying out of his mouth. The old man frightened Harvey more than his friends. Maybe it was because he lived right across the street, so Harvey saw him every day. 4 teeth remained in that ancient maw. Skin and clothes hung loose on his scarecrow bones, his crumpled gray-brown face worn down by time. The only thing with any semblance of vitality on the old man were his eyes, the same, green as the lawn, and sharp those eyes like a raptor. Harvey imagined the old man as a vulture, wicked hook of a beak snapping open and shut, talons gripping a stone outcropping, dirty feathers rustling over old, thin bones. The old bird would wait, patient as the tomb, for the deadly sun to kill a small, thirsty boy. Then the wings would spread wide, and the foul creature would spiral down to the hot, rocky ground and pick at the poor boy's carcass. Harvey imagined that, even though he was already dead, he would feel the tug as the ancient vulture plucked out his eye. Harvey looked up to find the old man gazing at him, the hose in his hand forgotten. For a long time their eyes remained locked. The old man grinned, showing his few teeth, and nodded, breaking their eye contact and watering his perfect lawn. Harvey shook it off and went inside and straight to his room. He had homework. He might as well get it over with. From his window, Harvey could see the old man's house. The old man wasn't out front now. The hose was coiled neatly by the front steps. The rich green lawn waved, and Harvey looked up. He liked to watch the leaves blow in the breeze. The leaves were still. There was no wind. Harvey looked back at the lawn. It was still moving. Homework forgotten, Harvey sidled into the hall, listening. He could hear the TV downstairs, so Dad was occupied. He had no idea where Mom was. Harvey tiptoed down the stairs, looking out for Mom the whole time. When he didn't see her, he knew she must either be in the basement or the backyard. Either way, Harvey was in the clear. He opened the front door, grateful that Dad kept the hinges oiled, and stepped outside. As he crossed the street, looking both ways, it occurred to Harvey that doing this sort of thing in broad daylight wasn't what the hero in a book would do, but it seemed a heck of a lot safer than night. Plus, though he would deny it if asked, Harvey, at 11, was still kind of scared of the dark. When Harvey set foot on the opposite curb, he noticed the lawn still swaying. He stepped to the sidewalk's edge, inches from the lush green blades, and they stopped. Harvey swallowed hard, staying as still as he could. After several seconds of no change, Harvey gathered his courage and strode up the walk to the old man's porch. Just before the steps lay the garden hose. Yellow snakehead nestled atop the skinny green body. Harvey picked up the handle. It wasn't as heavy as he expected. Squatting at the edge of the lawn, Harvey reached out with the hose handle, the green rubber hose scraping on the cement as it unwound a little. Harvey poked the lawn. The grass grew before his eyes. In a rough foot around Harvey's hand, the lawn was instantly 2 feet long. The blades curled around the yellow gun, his fingers, hand, and wrist, and they were strong. "Let go!" Harvey yelled. "Let go, damn you!" He pulled back as hard as he could, but the grass wouldn't break. Harvey couldn't uproot it. It wouldn't let go. It pulled him toward itself. It was an eager tug. Harvey planted his feet and leaned back. He screamed, not caring if he sounded like a scared little kid. Suddenly, he was free. Harvey fell back on his tailbone, bruising it. He wouldn't sit well for 4 days. The long grass still clung to his hand and wrist, still pinned the yellow gun to his hand, but it no longer tugged. It no longer moved. He looked up. The old man stood there, holding a long curved blade. It was the kind Harvey had seen on the DVD covers of more than one horror movie. The blade was stained with green liquid. It was the same color as the grass, as the old man's eyes. Harvey stared at the blade. The grass bleeds. The old man helped Harvey to his feet. Harvey could smell coffee and peppermint on the old man's breath. The old man marched Harvey by the shoulders to the sidewalk, where Harvey stammered his thanks. The old man stared at him for several seconds, saying nothing. Finally, the old man spoke. "Keep off the grass."
I say every house in America should have an electric chair. And every man just once in his life should sit in it, just so that he can feel the power of millions of gallons of electricity flow through his veins. I got an electric chair, that's all I need. You get an electric chair, Sheldon, you don't have to worry about the audience. You get an electric chair, you can tell them anything you want, as long as it's real. You get yourself an electric chair and they'll sit there all night long. Kind of a funny idea, sitting in an electric chair and doing a show. Well, think of the therapeutic value of an electric chair and all the money it is. Yes, an electric chair in every home.
The Electric Chair, a show about horror. ElectricChairShow.com.
An electric chair. Wow.
Breakup by Richard Christian Mathesson. They were in bed, curled together like children. That was when he whispered it, and her expression quietly tore open. She asked how long he'd felt this way. He gestured without detail, guessed 2 or 3 weeks. She stared at him, wanting to know how soon he intended to break things off. Now, he answered, a silhouette. She gathered the comforter around herself, like a funeral shroud, and started to cry when he told her the relationship was good, but, for reasons he couldn't name, he wanted out. "I'll change," she offered, sitting higher, ready to negotiate. She grasped a glass of water from her bedside table with pale fingers and told him she could be more what he wanted. She'd find a way. She watched for his reaction, optimism trapping her. He rose and began to dress, telling her it was too late. He needed something different, but even as he said it, in some odd sense, he didn't relate to the words. Still, he made no effort to correct the message, though it frightened him. She tried to understand and told him if he needed time off to take as much as he required, a weekend, a year, she would wait. He began buttoning his shirt, tying his tie. She watched as he laced his wingtips and asked if he would call. No. He wouldn't say more. You can't do this to us. Her eyes were wide, angry. He was an executioner, sentencing them. He pulled on his suit coat, sat on the bedside, spoke softly. Try to understand. It's not us. It's me. People grow. They want different things. Nothing's forever. He didn't know where the ideas were coming from and felt himself in some grotesque trance. Sun struck the brass headboard as if controlled by a catwalk technician and lit her bloodless lips. They parted to free a sound of drowning, assassination. It's someone else, isn't it? No. It's just feeling different from when we met. He tried to remember when or how they'd met and couldn't. He felt sick. We've known each other 6 months and you've already fallen out of love? What about all the promises? Our plans? Damn you! She tried to slap him, but thoughtlessly drew her fingers into claws and swiped his skin. 3 uneven scratches etched war paint stripes under one eye, and he wiped his cheek, smearing a cuff red. He tried to say something as she watched the blood glide down his face. I'm sorry, Jill. Maybe you're right. Maybe I don't love you anymore. I don't know. If I could explain it. He sounded lost, unable to translate himself. I just have to move on. She looked poisoned. Get out. Now. He grabbed his wallet and keys, looked at her one last time, closed the door behind himself. She caught her reflection in the mirror and threw the bedside clock at her deserted image. Outside her apartment, he walked toward his car and stopped to lean against the wall in the underground garage. He was suddenly nauseous, and a spasm broke glass in his stomach. He began to vomit, and as he arched over the greasy cement, the sensation felt somehow familiar, the pains like dim memories. He became more sick and tried to think about the conversation he just had with, but he couldn't recall her name, or who she was, or what they'd been doing. He stared down at his right hand, which supported him against the wall, but he no longer recognized it. Where it had been slight of structure, covered with fine blonde fuzz, it now had black hair on its back and knuckles. The wrists were growing thicker, fingers more powerful, tendons sleek beneath the now tanned skin. He tried to concentrate on where he was and saw an ID bracelet on his wrist. It grew gradually more tight and he ungrasped it. On one side was an engraving, I love you madly, Jill. He stared at it, thinking, concentrating, unable to place the name. He flipped it, and on the other side was another name, David. He felt a flicker of recollection, but it vanished in seconds, and he was quickly distracted by the feeling of growing taller, more sinewed. He felt an aggressive stream of ideas and sensations filling his mind, things deep inside dying, other things replacing them, taking over, taking control. He sensed he'd been through this hundreds of times. Somehow he even knew it, as the change spread like perverse warmth, becoming more potent, settling within his cells, becoming them. He stopped vomiting, stood straight. He was inches taller, pounds heavier, his face had broadened. The nose more flat now. A heavy stubble had come in and felt his face, probing at the red wounds on his cheek as they filled in and closed. He ran strong hands through hair that was now long and curly as a woman came up behind him. "Excuse me, I'm looking for my boyfriend." He turned and Jill stared at him, hoping he would help. But he didn't remember anything about her, and in a deep voice he said he'd seen no one. Then he walked away, not knowing to take his car. As he exited the garage and moved down the street, he felt a wallet against his thigh, withdrew it. He looked at the face on the driver's license and felt nothing as he bellowed the wallet wide, took the cash and tossed it aside. Then, feeling the morning sun on his new life, he walked on, good for another 6 months.
The thread of life is getting extremely thin, my dear sisters. Humanity's tapestry is once again becoming threadbare. If we do not find a way to help them soon, I'm afraid they may all die. We will have to descend down into the underworld once again until humanity has regained their balance.
Verdandi, no. I don't want to go to the underworld again. It stinks there. We must weave their fate stronger. They must survive. Can you whisper to the humans of their fate? If I am to go into the underworld, they are to come with me.
There are powerful female humans down there who interlace the future of many. I have seen it cut in their poles of destiny. Many humans deserve to have their threads cut off. Perhaps another purge is what they need in order to come together once again.
My sisters, word. The past has proven itself. Humans will continue to find ways to destroy themselves. I have seen it in the present. Many humans are trying to protect one another, but power, greed, and hate consumes them. It is ruining our beautiful tapestry. I also do not particularly care for the smell of the underworld.
Then what do you suggest, Verdandi?
What is one of the things which unites humans the most? A great disaster.
Yes, yes, this is truth that you speak. Humans always come to the aid of others when a catastrophe strikes. They send aid from all over the world to help one another. That is exactly what we need.
But would that be enough to save them? And keep us from descent into the underworld?
An excellent question, my sweet little sister. I believe the three of us together could create incredible apocalyptic situations for our female humans. For it is with them the power to survive and to continue their species.
In the past, we have provided them with plagues, floods, and witch hunts. Those were nice. What could we throw at them now to help join healing energies and find themselves once again?
Weird, we can't kill them all. Otherwise, we'll have to wait for another evolution.
Of course not, dearest Skuld. We wouldn't want to sabotage their precious future. Cull out the impudence, I say.
Why don't we let the Wickeds decide for us? They'll know how to handle this.
Yes, yes. We can give them the precious yarns of life to weave humanity's horror story. They can decide their own fate.
That's a superb idea. I think we'll need to provide them with a few helpful suggestions to ensure their survival.
I like it. What a delicious way to create chaos. The winning disaster will be their ultimate demise.
Or their ultimate survival. Each woman has the ability to influence her fate based on what she's experienced in the past.
Skuld, you are too much of an optimist for me. I hate the smell of rotting snails that the underworld offers. I'm not going back. I'm ready to cut their threads and end their lives. Get rid of the weak ones, I say.
Verdandi, how do we find these powerful wicked women to craft a tale of survival in an impossible situation to help fortify the tapestry of their existence?
It's quite simple, really. All they have to do is email to www.challenge2013@gmail.com. And in the body of the email, they can include their name, a short bio of themselves, and a headshot in order to enter the challenge.
I'm in a hurry. When do they need to send this in? I don't want to step 1 foot into the underworld if I don't have to. The smell, it's just... Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
Oh, we have time, my sisters, but the sooner our wicked women writers submit, the longer they'll have to craft their tales of doom. Official cutoff date for submissions is June 20th. Voters shall decide their fates by October 19th, and we will have our 2013 Most Wicked Woman Writer. She, and only she, will determine how the world brings upon its own apocalypse.
And right before All Hallows Eve, too. How very fitting. Let's make this unusually interesting, shall we? I say we provide the entrance, the disaster, and an inconvenient location.
And at least one item to help them out in their horrific situation. We must give them a fighting chance.
Indeed. Compelling. What if we give them an untimely disability?
Yes,
Oh, yes, yes.
yes. Life is never convenient. Why should the apocalypse be any different?
Agreed?
Agreed.
By
the blood of we three,
Let's release the fears that be. Once again, in order to choose Earth's ultimate demise and to bring the hearts of humanity together once again in peace and love, we need you to send us your name, short bio, and a headshot to www.challenge2013@gmail.com. Please put 2013 How Will You Survive entrant in the subject line. Then, once we have all of our victims...
You mean entrance?
Yes, right. Entrance, I mean. We will roll the runes to decide who gets what apocalyptic disaster, location, their helpful item, and...
their untimely disability.
Hurry now. Those who enter will receive their roll of the runes. Then, and only then, will be revealed their apocalyptic situation. Those who dare enter early will have the most time to craft their story. Take care, and good luck. Please survive. We really do not wish to go back down into the underworld. Nothing kills the smell.
Who shall be the most wicked 2013?